it's Romy. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel Aquarius. This is your December 2020 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign of Aquarius, then this is a general reading, but some of the messages and insights may well resonate through the course of December for you. So I hope you enjoy. Looking forward to seeing what's coming through for you, and let's get started. Okay, Aquarius, December 2020 soul story. So many of us are really looking towards the essence of your energy to try and get a bead on what's coming next as we see Saturn and Jupiter moving into your sign through the course of this month. And of course, that historic date on the 21st when Jupiter will conjunct with Saturn in Aquarius, first time in over 600 years. And the acceleration and ascension that's happening this month is just leading to such an incredible awakening, and you know, you really are on the leading edge of that. And we can see here as we open up your reading with the Page of Swords, you literally are like crossing the precipice between the old and the new. And I read this beautiful quote this morning and it made me think of you. I knew I was going to be doing your recording today, and it was by somebody called Daniel Wolfsong on Instagram. And the quote that he presented was, "The new mind leaves behind the old ways and the old conversations. Learn the new language your soul is longing to speak." And actually, I think this card in some ways really represents that beautifully as well, because here we have her looking in this book, thinking about words, thinking about language and expression, the way that we communicate, you know, wanting to illuminate a different way, wanting to show people, wanting to lead by example, to bring about a sense of feeling freer, but also to show the progress and to really demonstrate that it is time, you know, it's time to close the gap in so many aspects of the collective, but also within the self. You know, your heart is really a star, and what is it going to take for it to shine in this moment? You know, who are you at this point after everything that you've been through in the last 12 months, Aquarius? You know, December is asking and posing that question to you, and it's going to tumble out of you in terms of words and the conversations that you're having naturally with your family, your friends, your loved ones. It's going to come out in the work that you do professionally. It's going to come out in the way that you talk to yourself and the way that those beliefs are starting to change. And, you know, on the 14th of the month, we welcome this powerful new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius. It's delivering a positive aspect actually for you into your 11th house, which you're the natural ruler of, and really helping you to expand and explore new horizons, harness technology in a different way to use your voice. But of course, eclipses can bring about powerful change, can't they? You know, sometimes it's one big event, sometimes we see 3 things happen in succession. Now, some of you may have already felt the, you know, the upheaval and the kind of suddenness of what that eclipse is really bringing, because sometimes the energy is sort of playing out 4 to 6 weeks ahead of time. So regardless of where you find yourself, be prepared that this month of December, between the eclipse and this conjunct, is really bringing in a little bit of chaotic, frenetic energy. And yet, look, you are balancing on a tightrope, and you actually look quite unaffected by a lot of what's going on around you. You're very focused upon something specific, I think, because it's what's helping you to really make sense of perhaps some of the changes that are happening within you and around you, yeah? So be prepared for some weird and some kind of wonderful things to happen, but also for a lot of chaos that may well feel a little bit disruptive. If you, in your individual circumstances, find yourself somewhere that is unexpected and it feels more challenging than you had anticipated, there's a real reflection, you know, to look back over the course of this year and to reflect upon times when you have been hurt, where you've been perhaps rejected, abandoned, or even betrayed, and how perhaps that had you in a energy of second guessing yourself, you know, really not knowing whether some of the choices that you were either forced to make or that you came to of your own volition were necessarily the right ones. And yet what we're doing now is we're completely rebuilding that trust. You know, you've made it through everything that was thrown at you through the course of this year. And yes, there may be a few more final twists and turns before the year is out. However, as this Saturn planet moves into your sign, what we're really going to be doing is putting this solid new foundation in, this transformation of your sense of self, and building, rebuilding any trust that has wavered, so that you understand that the choices that you're making, the connection that you have into your higher self, is going to come from a place of absolute empowerment. And the beautiful thing about that conjunction that is taking place on the 21st is that both Juno and Pallas Athena, these beautiful divine feminine energies, are also coming in with some very harmonious aspects, meaning that, you know, the way that the energy is going to be unfolding is giving us such a balance between that divine masculine and feminine, and we can really start to work with that on an individual level. And here we have the Empress stepping forth just to represent that even more fully. What's beautiful is that both of these cards are sort of showing the figures in a kind of self-reflective sort of energy. You know, they're both looking down, but not looking down in terms of regret or feeling any sort of disconnection. It's coming from a place of just being aware of what's going on within your own energy field. And there's like a beautiful sense of healing that I pick up with that Empress energy as well. Of course, with her belly represented, you know, of the earth here as well, just a nod to what is happening within the collective at this time as well. And so the illumination from these light bulbs from the full moon, there's going to be information, there's going to be messages that are coming towards you that are meant to help you to feel more empowered and secure about where you stand right now, Aquarius. So keep that in mind if you are finding, you know, that the ground feels a little bit precarious beneath your feet a little bit, okay? Now we're also welcoming Chiron moving direct in Aries on the 15th. Again, that will influence what's been happening on your healing journey, and you may well notice that you're really starting to feel lighter, having cleared or shed, you know, some things that perhaps you needed to face or to deal with through the course of this year. And where that leads you is into an energy where you start to feel ready to prepare and to plan for what comes next, okay? And there's a rising excitement with that. And, you know, it might be at odds to the sense of, you know, this feeling like a month where you should be winding down, but quite the opposite. I think you're going to be in many moments in December high spirits as you start to contemplate the possibility of what might happen next. Now, I know that might not be the experience for all of you. Some of you may be dealing with some really challenging stuff, you know, maybe apart from loved ones, or, you know, dealing with flux and change in terms of your abundance levels. But what you need to understand is that the energy overall, with all of the planets apart from your Uranus now moving direct as of December, that energy translates into what's going on within your energy as well, which means that there's a green light and there's a sense of it's time, and there's an action that wants to be taken as a result of that. So if you can really think about what your highest perspective can be in this moment, you know, that's what we want to learn, particularly from the Sagittarius energy in the first part of December. What it's going to do is really lead you to starting to understand how you can plan and think about what comes next for you. You know, this is a time of building. It's building a solid new foundation, and what I love is it's coming from a brand new expression of energy, new words, new conversation, something different, something we haven't heard before. It's coming from a place of empowerment, from divine love, from generosity, and I think that you have the opportunity to harness that. And yes, you can take a different path. Yes, you could feel yourself as a victim role in terms of some of the harsher things that may have conspired or transpired for you through the course of this year. But you could also look at it from what they have taught you and the gift that has really enabled you to discover and unearth something within you that has enabled you to keep going, that has helped you to see that actually things are changing. Things that had to change are changing, you know? It is a month where you're going to see a lot happening. Nothing is set in stone, and I wouldn't be wanting you to get too almost caught up in what people might be presenting, because I think that there's a strong indication that there could be fast changes in terms of people's minds, in terms of actions, or even circumstances surrounding situations that feel like they're not possible, and all of a sudden they may become possible. In fact, toward the end of the month, we have some beautiful trines with Uranus. Now, Uranus is in Taurus at the moment, and of course the Empress energy links to Taurus, and when it trines with both the Mercury and Sun at the end of the month, it's the opportunity for you to lock in something really beautiful and perhaps experience some very nice surprises as well as we make our way to that fullness of the Cancerian moon on the 30th of the month. And as it activates that 6th house of service and well-being, for some of you that may be some real positive news in and around your health and well-being, or what's happening from a work perspective, but there are some really sweet blessings that are going to be sprinkled like confetti through this month of December. So be prepared for kind of a little bit of everything as you move through this month. Yeah. So for those of you that are looking at the potential outcome of a situation, the Ten of Swords is really indicating that it's time for something to come to a point of closure and release. Now, it may well have a sense of permanency and finality to it. It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. Certainly the way that energy has been in relation to a situation, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a financial circumstance that you find yourself in, something that's going on within the self, or in another aspect of your life, Aquarius. This 10 is saying it's time for this energy to close out. We cannot maintain this cycle anymore. There is nothing more for you to gain by staying in this place, and really the energy that's kind of swirling around December is just not going to let you anyway, and I think you're going to see that play out really profoundly. So if you are experiencing different connections in your life and you felt that perhaps where you're at, I know a lot of people that are tuned into the channel and have really done so much soul work on themselves and have really got that level of self-awareness, and perhaps there are people in your life that you are longing to kind of have that moment of awakening. Well, this is the month when it's very likely that you're set to see that happen. But remember, that can really put people into a tailspin. It can really feel for some that their entire world has just crumbled around them. And so be aware that you might be sort of mopping up or picking up the pieces of someone else who all of a sudden has just had a really sharp awakening. And of course it's for their highest good, it's for their own growth, but it's not always easy to kind of see other people go through that, and it may mean that you're also kind of caught up in the chaos of all of that, Aquarius. So, where things perhaps come to a sudden or sharp end because of somebody's realization or kind of panic around what's happening and how fast it's changing, you do need to just make sure that you do stay in your own energy. And that's why I think it is really important that you think about who you want to be. Think about what that new language of your soul is kind of stepping forth with, because you can really lead by example, and I think it's going to be important. And of course with the Ten of Swords, the sun is always rising, isn't it? It's always beckoning, a new beginning, and something has to complete at this point in order for us to create space for what comes next. Certainly the indication of the way that the figure is stood here on the Ten of Swords, and if this is representative of you, the motion is forward, the birds are kind of looking toward the horizon, and then we see the Knight of Pentacles coming in here and making this purposeful stride towards something that is meaningful and that is ready for your time, attention and commitment. Now, yes, it may well be an earth sign that you're also dealing with, a Virgo, Taurus or Capricorn, but I'm also just, taking in the essence of this Knight of Pentacles, and they really want you to say, do you know what, it's time to kind of buckle down and also give yourself the opportunity to make really meaningful change. And yes, this might be painful, and yes, it might be unexpected, or for some of you it might just be the genuine acceptance of this is where you're at. But there's also a lot to look forward to. And, understand that any investment that you've made, say you've been in a relationship for a long time and it's come to a point of, finishing, or perhaps you've been working at a job and then you were let go of, or, some kind of friendship is transformed and changed. All of the energy that came from a really good, pure place, the love, the positivity, the hope, all of that beautiful essence that you gave to that connection, to that situation, that isn't lost. You know, energy never dies. That's an existence. And what you're doing is you're really moving forward to meet that energy again at a new point in time, and perhaps with, you know, a connection that's going to serve you even better, or a role that's going to be even more in alignment with who you're becoming. So don't ever look at anything that is moving out of your life, even as difficult as it may be. And I'm not discounting on the impact that that can have on an emotional level, but really understand that, you know, all of that investment has been sound, and what you've gained from that you're going to take forward with you. The thing with the Knight of Pentacles is there's this tremendous source of being able to count on him, and that's what I really love. And yes, sometimes it can feel like it's not the most exciting energy to work with, but actually in a month that's going to have plenty of stuff going on, I really like that he's coming up at the center of your read, because for me that's the groundedness that you need, you know. And what is he doing? He's walking you directly towards something that is your dream, something that is your burning desire, something that you're longing for, that you're hoping, that you're wishing to come to fruition. Now there's a wait time. Yeah, there's a wait time with the Knight of Pentacles. Doesn't happen overnight. And yet at the moment, the opportunity for instant manifestation is still really strong. So don't be bound up in timelines. And I know that's easy for me to say if you're sat waiting for the outcome of something, or, you know, but understand that any time you feel like you're waiting for someone or something to come to you with information, okay, you are disempowering yourself in that moment, okay? You can feel all of the things that you want to without that validation. And in fact, if you can get into that kind of a vibration, then this is what's really going to make your experience in December a whole lot better, okay? I don't need you to tell me that I'm good enough. I don't need you to tell me if you still love me. I don't need you to tell me, you know, if I've got that job or if this is happening. It's like for you to feel emotionally secure, for you to know that actually the things that you want in your life are still possible and still achievable, because that all comes from you. That doesn't come from someone else, you know? And you can create those opportunities over and over and over again. It doesn't have to be with that one person in that one way. So be really open-minded about that. But I love that she's leaping out of this treasure chest here. And I do want to just say, for those of you that may be in a situation where there is a real flux in and around finances or abundance, understand that there is an improved progress that you are going to make, you know. So following a situation, coming to perhaps a moment of completion, then we've got some good stuff that's coming in that's going to help you to feel freer, okay? And actually help to give you a solid base for which to build upon. That's really important. What I love is that the Nine of Cups as an energy can sometimes feel like that transient, fleeting kind of a vibration of happiness or desire or something coming in, something coming good. It can kind of talk about that level of, wishful thinking almost. And yet, backed up by the Knight of Pentacles, I'm like, no, this is a sure bet. This is happening. It just might take a little bit longer than you anticipated, because the Two of Wands is asking you to put all of the preparation and the planning into effect, you know? So keep that in mind, right? You've got some really supportive energies working with you, you know? The thing is, it's about not really feeling like that sense of self is completely set in stone, because what happens is you keep meeting and showing up to meet new aspects of yourself, to meet new aspects of what's happening in the world, you know? King of Swords, representative of an air element, so yourself, a Gemini or Libra even. But look at his vantage point. He's on top of the mountain here and in a very cool, calm, considered state of mind, you know. And this is what I feel, in spite of what may feel a very chaotic month for many, you have the ability to transcend that and actually find quite a peaceful perspective in what's happening, even if it's impacting you directly, okay? I also feel that if this is an energy around you, Aquarius, maybe there has been some sort of ending or something that has needed to get to a point of finality, okay? What comes next from that? I think that there is almost a sense of your guides wanting to bring something forth to give you reassurance. Now, that reassurance for some of you may feel like, okay, there's a new prospect on the horizon, you know, whether that be romantically, whether that be in work or business, or just in terms of you feeling like you have options, there's freedom here, there's not restriction. Because one of the things I'll say to you is nothing about your reading so far is showing me a sense of restriction. Now, that might be a short-term, immediate physical reality for you, but it isn't really at the core of what is happening here. Everything is about expansion and opening up and that progressive visionary outlook for the future, and that's what you need to really take from this, you know. The Magician energy coming through, and you know, we need to adapt, you know, we need to make those adjustments, we need to be experimental, we need to come at things from an intellectual perspective, but also a heart-led perspective. So, you know, what are you passionate about this month? What really drives you? What is making you feel like your best self? And you know, where are the practical aspects of what's going on in your life either impeding that or creating space for it? I think there's just an awful lot of reflection on how you can kind of make the best of situations that you're in, but also what you can use and work with to your advantage. For me, this is like really richly creative, but it's backed up with something quite solid, because I'm putting my trust in the Knight of Pentacles and the King of Swords energy as they step forward for you, because what they show me is that their ideas are sound and that the methodology that they can apply to something is also tried and tested, you know, and it's coming from almost a scientific kind of a background. So, you know, we blend that with our spirituality, with understanding that the wider energies are coalescing to really bring about profound change, and we take that on board and something really magical and alchemical can happen as a result of that. And where does that lead you? It leads you into this beautiful Empress energy where you feel empowered and solid within yourself. Great energies if you are doing stuff in and around your work, your vocation, your business, okay? This is a time to bring out the new ideas, to start to think about how you can do things differently, to recommit, you know, to not give up. This is not an energy of giving up in any way, shape or form. You know, this is about when you really start to feel what Jupiter in your sign is about to do for you. You know, Jupiter is the planet of expansion, of growth, of abundance, of blessings, of good luck and fortune. And so for the next year, as it works with you to support you, it wants to bring in things that you long for, that you hope for, that you desire. It wants to stretch you so that you can rebuild trust in yourself, rebuild the trust that you have in your instincts and what you know is right for you and what you think your potential is, what you're capable of, you know? It's about letting go of some of that self-sabotage where you keep trying to drive something into the wall because you're frightened that it might disappear, you know? But like we said, we've got the backup of that knight coming in that says, look, I'm not going anywhere. In fact, look, I'm leaving all of these coins in the field so that even if you lose your way momentarily, you're going to find me again. You're going to find me again. So take that as a message, Aquarius. If you feel like you've lost your hope, if you feel like you've lost your rhythm or your mojo, if you feel like something is just come and then you just can't quite grasp it again, it's not going to go anywhere, okay? You're not going to miss it. The timing is going to come back around over and over again, okay? And even if you are in situations where this month affords you time to kind of really sit and reflect on what happens next, what you want to happen next. Use it creatively, use it inspiringly, you know, for yourself and others. I feel like you are going to be an intrinsic part of particular group dynamics. So whether that is in a family situation or just trying to bolster or you know, motivate people in your team perhaps, or with your friends, it's just like, you know, you have a bead on the energy that's coming. Now, is 2021 going to be a walk in the park? No, because we have the aftermath of everything that's happened this year. But what it is going to do is be far more open, far more progressive, far more illuminatory in terms of, you know, bringing solutions to the table that are not only going to meet the fallout of what's happened, but also take us way, way, way beyond it. And you're right at the leading edge of that. And I think you'll be feeling into the energy. And of course, that's going to start with the way that you want to make changes in your own life, you know? There's some really sweet blessings and moments of happiness that are coming in December for you. And I want you to take time to enjoy them. I want you to feel as free as you can see this figure in the Nine of Cups. You know, she's radiating out this energy. Powerful. She's saying to hell with everything. Like, I don't care. I'm just going to seize this moment. I'm going to be me. I'm just going to make the best of what I've got right now, because I know that everything's moving and I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going. And if you don't, rest assured this month is going to deliver that to you. Crystal clear clarity will come in the month of December for you. I would say in more than one area of your life, but certainly within some aspect of yourself that's, you know, going to show you actually just what this real ascension and movement into a new frequency of energy is all about, and how it's actually going to play out in so many ways. Look at this beautiful card. She's just stepping forth with purpose. And look at the trail of colours that are behind her. Emotional energy. Emotions are messengers to be met with appropriate attention, action, and gratitude. So everything that you're going through, everything that you're going to experience in December, and, you know, be aware it's probably going to take you from zero to hero and back down again. You know, there are so many things that are set to unfold that will happen around you and within you, that it is going to be important to keep that centered energy. But look what you can bring, you know, this is about your energy field. Make sure you're constantly calling your own energy back home. Make sure you're protecting against any lower vibration or projection from other people, you know. Just keep moving forward though. This isn't a time of stagnancy. It's not a time of being the victim. I don't see it for you in your cards whatsoever, but I think there's going to be moments that punctuate this month that are going to try and trick you and make you feel like your emotions are kind of overwhelming you or defining you. They are not. They really are not. And just also take a beat that you're not in someone else's energy when that happens. But I love the spectrum of light that's shown here, and I think your understanding of how luminous and colourful life can be for you moving forward is also going to be revealed to you in some way. So just expect some really beautiful spiritual things to happen. Expect your guides and the angels to step forward with very personal validations and signs for you that not only are you not alone, but actually you have this ability now to be able to connect more strongly than ever. Your oracle card is breath. Beautiful. What are you giving life to right now? Look at the fluidity that we have both in this figure and in your emotional energy and in this Nine of Cups. They're all just like abandoning themselves beautifully, you know, dancing with the energy, moving in harmony with it. The heart illuminated here. We know your heart is a beautiful, beautiful expression of that energy of the divine. And it's like, what are the things in your life that need to be lit up, that you need to breathe oxygen back into? Perhaps this is the time when you really get to gather up all your thoughts and, you know, make some permanent decisions that are going to support what's really good for you moving forward. Something is going to activate your heart. For some of you, there may be new energies coming in, or a new idea or a new inspiration that settles in the month of December that's going to be a real game changer. You must trust it, you know. Don't second guess yourself. If you get something, act on it. If you feel inspired to it, do it. there is a suggestion of keeping something quiet, something to yourself. You know, it's not necessary to share with everyone everything that's going on within you if you don't want to. And perhaps if there's something new that's just come in as a tiny seed, you know, you want to just kind of have some time to just almost bond with it yourself, with your energy, just to make sure that it's fully seeded and kind of almost a part of the cells within you, so that moving forward you're not disrupted. You're not disrupted by what anyone else has to say about it or what they think about it, because it's a part of you. So, you know, allow that energy of the Seven of Swords to just get that kind of I'll keep this to myself for now, you know. It's just quiet plans moving in the background. And maybe that will be the case for some of you from a relationship perspective. I'm not getting a huge negative aspect to the energy of that 7 today, if I'm totally honest. What I'm seeing is that actually it wants to demonstrate to you where you are moving past some of the lack of trust that you've had in yourself previously. You know, we're really in a state of transforming that at this point. So, you know, I think there's a lot to work with, a lot to feel optimistic about. I don't underestimate the situations that many of you are experiencing and going through, but I think this soul story is really representative of you finding the essence of everything that you are and really letting that guide you powerfully forward. Now, this is a general reading, so if you'd like to join me for the extended version, Aquarius, you can find the link in the description box below, and we'll talk for another 20 minutes or so. We'll pull out some more messages for you to go into this in a little bit more detail. What I'd like to say is, if you have a question that you feel hasn't really come up in the general reading, think about that now. I'm going to go ahead and pull us a couple of cards that we will explore in the extended reading to answer that question specifically. Okay, great. So let's just do the main spread here now. So just beginning with that Page of Swords, coming through with the card of Temperance, links into the energy of Sagittarius. We also have the Hierophant here with a nod to Taurus, coming through. Lots of major arcana cards coming in here. 6 of Wands. Some nice successes coming your way as well, if you are ready to receive them. Beautiful Queen of Pentacles coming up here. Could be an earth sign. You know, it's strongly representative in your reading today. Capricorn, Taurus or Virgo. Of course, we're going to be welcoming the Sun in Capricorn as of the 21st of this month, and Mercury into Capricorn on the 20th. And here we have the King and Queen of Pentacles. So very strong positive indications for those of you with a, you know, a focus in and around your finances. The Hanging Man coming in with those plans. Yes, a little bit of a wait, but look at that. 10 of Pentacles coming through. Beautiful. And the Star. Wow. Your card coming up here, Aquarius. Okay, so that 10 of Swords coming through with the Queen of Swords. Maybe this is another air sign, you know, or it is something that's, you know, changed within you that you feel can no longer continue, you know. 3 of Wands. Turning your back on something, perhaps someone turning their back on you is here, but there are things that you haven't yet seen, you know. It's about what we need to do to move forward now. Another 2 of Wands here. I love this white stag. It came up in another reading and it just feels such a beautiful spiritual sign for us for this month. High Priestess as well coming in. All these 2s, you know, are talking to me about decisions and choices to make. Of course, we've got Justice card coming up as well here, trying to balance something out, you know. You might struggle a little bit to balance your energies at times through this month. It would be perfectly understandable. Okay, you've got another 7 of Swords coming in here. This one feels a little bit more tricky. 7 of Swords over the Magician. Is it? Yeah. A little bit more of a trickster energy being kind of amped up here. So maybe somebody that you need to be aware of or mindful of through this month, Aquarius. Just be very careful on anything legal front as well, yeah? Will come to light, whatever it is. Another Magician here. A lot of manifesting energy coming up really strong for you. It's great. 8 of Pentacles and card of Judgment. Okay, the final card I want to pull is that I want to do a preview, a card for the year, what your guide card's going to look like for 2021. So we'll cover that off in the extended as well, Aquarius. And if you'd like to check out my new gift and guide series, it's on my website where I'm offering pre-recorded personal readings, the Soul Journey, Divine Love and Path to Purpose, and you can find more details of that as well over on my website. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. I wish you a really beautiful month of December. I think hold on to your hats a little bit. You're not going to come out of it the same person that you went into it, but it isn't a surprise in a year as profound as this one. If you're joining me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this narrative. Otherwise, I'll speak to you again in January readings. Bye for now.